Now, the European Union has criticised the use of excessive force against student protesters in Bangladesh. Demonstrations against unpopular quotas for civil service jobs were met with force by police. Conservative estimates put the number killed at 200 people, with at least 1,000 injured and many more arrested or detained. DW has spoken to a mother whose son was killed in the violence.
With my tax money, what more can I say? I have no words. Will forever remain with us.
And we can hear from the Bangladeshi government for more on this. The State Minister for Information, Mohammed Arafat, joins me now from the capital, Dhaka. He regularly speaks for Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Welcome to DW, sir. Thank you very much for your time today. We just heard there the mother of one of the students killed in the crackdown on protests. Can I ask you, will your government apologise and resign following the violence and the deaths of so many students?
Well, thank you for your question. The story you just played, it was really heartbreaking. There's no doubt about that. But there's some more to it in the whole story. I mean, still the global media are stuck into an equation, which is a binary, which is the government versus the student protesters. But that's not the case at all. There's a third-party infiltration and involvement into this, and the third party being the BNP and Jamaat and Shibi, the Islamic radicals who are actually carrying out some of the destructions and the violence. And very unfortunately, of course, some people got stuck into the situation and we saw the casualties. Therefore, the government has declared to form, and actually has been already formed, a judicial inquiry committee, and that is going to be independently, thoroughly investigate everything, each one of the casualties, and then bring the perpetrators of the responsible people to book. That is our commitment. But let me give you some context into this. If I can give you some context, that will help you understand. During the protest, first of all, you mentioned in 18th July, all this thing happened. Most of the people don't know on 18th July, there was no quota in the country because the court already made a declaration on the status quo of the High Court verdict. Therefore, there's no quota, so there's no point of making any protest.
So I'm going to have to interrupt you. I do understand this is an incredibly complicated situation, and as you say, many factors involved, but I do need to bring you back to the question and the fact that at least 200 students have died on the watch of your government. So can I ask again, will your government apologise? And will it not resign? I mean, what moral standing does the government of Sheikh Hasina have when it's presided over the deaths of so many people, mostly students?
First of all, 200 students did not die. The total death toll the government found out is 150. And out of 150, there are many people who are burned down by the anarchists and the attackers. And we could not even identify their identity. So they were burned down when they set fire. Some of the anarchists and the attackers set fire. The policemen were there, and there are many members of the ruling party are also there. So we are not going to discriminate who died. Our commitment is to protect peace and protect the lives of the people. And when you see an infiltration of some militant group into the process, and the government's job is to try to protect the lives and restore peace. So in an effort to try to do this, government is doing it. See, in the process of this protest, we saw that the jailbreak that leading to escape the 820 prisoners, including 9 high-level jihadists. They looted the firearms, ammunitions. 160 prison staff were hostage. They damaged 235 police facilities. They completely destroyed 69 police posts and killing of many police officers and then hanged them upside down. Those are the kind of things we saw. 1,117 policemen injured, and 132 of them are in a very critical condition. So they repeatedly attempted to attack the police stations. So my thing is, they attacked the metro rail stations, they attacked the BTV, all the key point installations. We see a clear handwriting of the BNP and Jamaat and the Islamic radicals to do this. The government job would be to protect the people. If I could just come back to your point, sir,
just to make sure that we clarify this. You talked about third parties, anarchists and attackers. I'd just like to take a look at some footage that we have of a student protester, Abu Saeed, being shot by police. Now, this is verified footage, I should say, by Amnesty International. And it is just one example of police violence. So what can you tell our viewers about such incidents of seemingly obvious brutality by the police, not by third parties?
Okay, so our stand is very clear. First of all, our objective was to send out the law enforcement agency to diffuse tension and to protect the human lives and to protect and to restore peace. But in the process, we do not deny that some of the police members did not do anything unlawful. That's the reason why we have already formed the Judicial Committee to investigate thoroughly. And we have made the commitment to bring everyone responsible for any casualty to bring to book. That's what we have said it clearly. But now tell me, the leaders of the student protesters, they also claimed and clearly mentioned, and it's on the media, that they also denounced all these destructions and the violence. They also said they don't want to be the shield and be abused by the third party, the militant force, to create anarchy in the country. So our position and the student leaders' position is also the same on this particular situation. Some of the students who lost their friends right next to them, they came out to the social media and said they believe their friend did not get killed by the police because the distance between them and the police and so many people between them were there. They believe they got killed by some of the anarchists who killed them because they wanted to create some kind of tension in the society so that they can eventually topple the government. So in the equation, I would appeal to everyone to understand, get the clear picture of it, the real picture of it, the third party intrusion and their infiltration. And because of that, the way they, flare up the tension. And because of that, many unfortunate incidents had happened. And we do not deny that.
Sir, if I can ask you an important question in this, because, of course, I understand, I can hear your argument, but, of course, what's happening in Bangladesh right now is being watched by the world. You spoke about an investigation. I know your government has announced an independent judicial committee to look into what happened. The UN, the United Nations, though, is demanding an impartial international inquiry into the violence. Now, is that not a better idea for the sake of credibility, both within Bangladesh and to other countries observing what's happening and who are already voicing criticism of the situation they see unfolding?
First of all, Bangladesh is an independent and sovereign country. We have our institutions, and they are quite capable of doing it, dealing with it very well. We have already formed an independent judicial committee. But of course, they're going to do it. But of course, in the process, if needed, we're willing to get the help from some of the international experts, maybe the forensic experts and all that, who can get involved and help us into the process. So we're going to make it very transparent, and we are committed to do it. But at the same time, we don't want to, make it look like that Bangladesh is a war-ravaged country. It cannot, the institutions are not working, so it cannot deal with this kind of investigation by itself. So that is not going to happen, that we allow a third country to come and do it for us. We'll do it ourselves, but we, of course, we would not mind having the international observers to come into this and getting the help of the experts or the forensic experts from the international community to help us into this. Because we are absolutely committed to hold a very transparent, investigation. And
Mohammed,
we are absolutely
Arafat.
committed to bring everyone responsible to bring to book.
OK, let's turn to Debarati Guha from DW's Asia desk now, who's just returned from Bangladesh herself. Debarati, I know that you also recently spoke with the Bangladeshi information minister. What do you make of the claim that he makes that third parties were involved beyond the student protesters and the government?
Yeah, thank you for your question. I reached Dhaka on the 20th of July, just after 19th, which was the deadliest day. I was carrying bulletproof jackets and helmets for our correspondents, 2 of them. It was full curfew. I saw fire everywhere, burnt and vandalized, vehicles left on the street, barricades, both by police and the protesters. There were dismantled road barriers and broken branches scattered all over. Still, I managed to meet some of the high-ranking government officials, including Muhammad Ali Arafat, whom we just saw. Now, I also attended his press conference, which was held at the premises of BTV, that is the Bangladesh TV, which was destroyed completely, including their archives, which is National Archives. And when I saw that, I was definite that this cannot be done by normal students. Thus, I also believe that there was definitely a third party. Now, who this third party is or where, this is supposedly, I cannot say because that has to come out from some investigations. But the protesters themselves have said that they were not involved in such distractions. And it is really sad to see a peaceful demonstration going out of control. It's basically a chaos, which I saw there.
What can you say about how Bangladeshis are coping right now with the aftermath of this extraordinary violence against protesters?
So today was the national mourning day, was observed basically all over Bangladesh. Curfew is also on, but in a partial way. There is no report at this time, at this moment, from Bangladesh or outside Dhaka or inside. But there are still some protests and rallies inside the city and also outside. When I was there, I also visited a hospital where there was large number of injured people. They were still overwhelmed, the hospital authorities, because there was hundreds of patients flooded in over such a short time. There were not only students, there were police officers, there were journalists. You must know that there were 4 journalists at least were killed and many injured, including one of our correspondent. So I think that Bangladesh is, in a way, at this moment, very controlled way, but also mourning. There's also still protest going on. And this control on, at that moment when I was there was full curfew. Then slowly it was partial curfew. Initially, there was basically nobody could go out. I used a curfew pass to go out and meet these officials and hospitals, etc., and the destruction sites. I think this control on the internet, even now, is Facebook, TikTok, Instagram is banned. This cannot go on for a very, very long time. Yeah, but that's the situation right now.
And what about the thousands of protesters that have been detained by security forces? I mean, how worried are people, how worried are their family members about what's going to happen to them?
Yeah, I mean, we just saw that interview of a mother. I hope that there will be no torture on the name of remand inside the custody. But in the history of Bangladesh, we have seen that there were torture. It has happened before, also when opposition was in power. So I'm concerned, and I think so is the population of Bangladesh in large. They're concerned about that.
Looking at the bigger picture, at Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's grip on power, how firm is her grip on power currently, would you say?
Well, I think I'm not the right person to answer this question, but I think the government have made several mistakes. First, they should have tackled the protest movement, which was initially peaceful at the right time. Second, they should have not involved Chhatro League, which is the student body of Awami League. Third, police should have been more humane. They should have not shot at protesters, basically not students. Though I know that there were not only students, but also government officials, police, and journalists were also killed. Fourth, PM should have been more careful because her statement was easily twisted. I think recent violence is the most serious challenge in years for Sheikh Hasina. In any case, I do know that any political party, there is basically no political party at this time who is demanding PM's resignation, but I won't be surprised because in social media, we even have seen photos of walls where it is written that in the morning, there is a lot of theater, in the night, there are a lot of killings. So there's a kind of dissatisfaction from the people because of years of unemployment, years of corruption. So that's obvious that there is dissatisfaction, but I have not seen any demand from any particular political party because the BNP, which is the main opposition, they are not in the field.
OK, so if there's no obvious likelihood of change, will there at least be accountability, do you think, for the violence against the protesters?
Yeah, I think the government should be accountable. Whatever has happened, even if there is a third force, the government should take the responsibility. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, there was a national mourning day today, and if I have heard right, tomorrow, that is Wednesday, the Bangladeshi government will be banning the Jamaat Islami and their student wing Shibir. So if the third force was involved in this protest movement, this will be a major decision in the country.
DW's Debarati, Guha, many thanks for your analysis there. Thank you so much.
Thank you.